Oh, yeah. Welcome, everybody, to 20 Sides to Every Story. Thank you for being with us. And thanks for all the subs and the doots and the whatevers. Thanks for the hype train is happening. That's an awesome way to start out our Wednesday night Planescape Turn of Fortune's Wheel. We're about to enter into Act 3 of the story, so that's pretty exciting. Our characters are now level 10, and we are moving right along here. If this is your first time joining us, we would encourage you to come join us in our Discord server, especially if you are thinking about running this module yourself. I see the fish 523 is out there. They're prepping the module. I think actually quite a ways into the adventure at this point, but we've got a little group there that shares ideas and tries to find ways to twist and change and alter and make this adventure the best one it can be at the tables where we're playing it. So you could definitely come in there, jump in to the conversation, and see all the ideas that and the resources that people are sharing with one another. The other big plug for joining the Discord is it's just a nice place to hang out and find other people to play games with. We've got an LFG channel where games get posted, both things that we stream here on the Twitch channel, but also things that are just happening offline. So you can come and check out any of those pieces of the community. So I think I'll give a little recap of where we're at as we're about to begin. And then I'll probably have our characters, or our players, introduce their characters, and I'd be interested to hear what some of their internal dialogue is after they've learned some major truths in the last session about themselves and about their connection to all of the weird quote-unquote glitching that is happening throughout the multiverse. So, well, in our last session, they did it. They finally found this Modron that they've been hunting around for 20-some sessions. They found Rome, caught up in the web of a dark weaver. Seemingly, he got lost because he had wandered into the spire, hoping to stay one step ahead of Shemeshka, and got himself trapped and lost. But the characters followed the clues, and they used the Mimir to reunite once again with him. While they were in the spire, they met a fiend who goes by the name of the Scholar of Impossibilities. It's kind of a big, I don't know. Does he come up with that for himself? That seems a little, I don't know. I don't think you get to do that, but he did, and they talked to him a bit, and he shared with them a lot of truths about themselves. Namely, the big one is that they are not who they think they are. And in fact, they were born really of a wish, of a hope, of the belief of the collective Modrons that are currently lost and wandering around in a realm that is the dominion of Shemeshka, called Tyrant's Spiral. And they are being programmed with all sorts of horrible visions and imagery, making them believe that the blood war is spilling out all across the multiverse. Something that Shemeshka is trying to exploit to be a deal maker, a more powerful broker in the conflict, that she might wield some influence over particularly the Devil Lords. I don't know how much negotiation you can really do with the Demon Lords, but the Devils she can twist and manipulate a little bit. And so in this infinite loop of horror that they are living through, the Modrons believed into existence these 5 heroes to come and break them out of it and save them. Which would have been a great thing, because they did manifest at one point as 5 characters that we will probably see, I would guess, in like 2 sessions or something, 2 or 3 sessions. We will see who these like paragons of heroic, whatever the Modrons believed up. The characters or the players are currently working up those characters that we'll see at some point here. But they were defeated by Shemeshka. She was ready for some shenanigans. Somebody would come around and try to stop her. But the belief of the Modrons was so powerful that they continued to believe into existence these heroes, but they kind of got mixed up with other images and other memories and other stories that the Modrons had collected during the Modron March. And so each time the characters died, they would come back as another incarnation over and over and over again until they became the 5 characters that woke up on cold, hard beds in the mortuary that started this whole campaign. So that is what they learned from the Scholar of Impossibilities. And this information, they also came to understand that they needed to go back to Sigil, that Shemeshka likely still has imprisoned it within her casino, that's the name of the adventure. Fortune's Wheel, the casino, that's the name of the casino. That she probably has their bodies and their original incarnations, and in order to have a fighting chance at saving the Modrons and fulfilling, their purpose for existence, I guess, they would need to find those original versions of themselves and merge together once again. Before they departed from the Scholar of Impossibilities, he is not a benevolent being. He is sort of a chaos agent a bit. And he shared with you a secret probably too far, because he shared with you what the thing is that is being encased at the base of the spire by the Romani. And he told you that was the body of a god named Eoskar, who is the former god of portals and gateways. A dead god, a god that was killed by the Lady of Pain, which is a pretty significant thing. So this Eoskar, the story goes, is that he emerged as a major player within Sigil and tried to wrest control of Sigil away from the Lady of Pain. And she made him pay for it and killed him. And it is said that she tossed his body out into the astral plane, but somehow his body now rests at the base of the spire and is being locked away. But just the mere knowledge of this is likely dangerous kernels of truth in your brain as you head back into Sigil. Because the Lady of Pain, and you only know that this would not be common knowledge. You may be the only 5 that know this, other than the Scholar of Impossibilities. She wiped everything. All the temples, all the scripts, all the scrolls, and it is believed that most of her followers, or all of his followers, either allowed themselves to be freed of the memory of their god, or they were killed. So now it sort of makes sense why the Romani were not super eager to share anything about what they knew about that with you. But now you have the knowledge, and you have to live with that as you return back to Sigil. And so the session ended last time with you finding a portal that Baldwin had locked on with the ability or a spell that he has, and you found a portal, and it whipped up and opened up for you, and you passed through, and it seems that it is taking you into Sigil. And that's where we ended. So, as we begin, with that as the intro here, let's go around and just hear from all of the players. Let's get a little insight into what your characters have been thinking about since they've learned the truth about who they are and those types of things. And so, who would like to start first? I always start right along the bottom, which maybe someone's eager to jump in and go.
No one's eager, I'll go.
Okay, we're going to start right along the bottom anyway.
All right, sounds good. Well, I am playing Zilloff, the mountain dwarf, but really at this point, that character has kind of ceased to be in a way. These combined memories of multiple adventures and multiple characters have kind of influenced this character to no longer be, I don't know, I would say maybe their personality has not necessarily left, but there are more factors in play. So I would say this character that I am playing now still has the commonness. I'd say most of the characters that were good, that kind of this collective group, they were good. So I'd say this character that I'm playing is a good-hearted character that wants to see this thing through. And that's pretty much all I could really say about who I'm playing at this point. It's so much different than what it was a few sessions ago.
Awesome. Yes, I think probably one of the things you'll notice is that certain accents have just disappeared. I think that's one of the things that we learned last time. All right. We're just going to go along the bottom. I guess that's the easiest method. So, Robyn, would you share what's going on with your character?
All right. Well, I am playing Cerebella Storm, who's an Orc Wizard. The first immediate thought is like right before we jumped into a portal, we were having a conversation with another fiend, and that Moloch guy tried to take our platinum chip, and I swallowed it to try to keep it away because that like made a lot of sense at the time. I don't know. Cerebella was having an off night. So anyway, so the first thought is, darn it, now I got to figure out how to get this stupid thing back. But secondly, Cerebella is almost having the opposite reaction as Zilloff because she has a very strong ego. And instead of being able to step back from that ego, there's this part of her that's like, well, maybe if I believe in myself enough and we free these heroes, like maybe I will be real again. Maybe I will be myself. Like she's not as willing to give up that ego sense. But she wants to look like a good guy. So, you know, I don't think she's sharing that with a whole lot of people. It's more the, yes, we need to rescue these heroes and stop the glitch. But deep down, she's really hoping that maybe there's enough belief that she herself will endure somehow through all of this.
Awesome. It's fun to hear how this is playing out differently for each of you. Let's go next to Dawson.
Hi, everybody. I'm Daw, the Baldwin Plasmoid guy. Yep, that's me. Also known as the solution to Cerebella's problem.
God, no, I'm not letting you be going into that 1-inch space.
I got the inspiration for it already. We're doing it.
No, there needs to be consent, Dawson.
Anyways, in terms for how he's currently feeling is a little more, not really like it's super phased him. He feels more indifferent on the fact because he's felt like for the longest time he's been having this weird like visions of he's done certain things before, even before this whole thing started. that he's done like certain routes, different changes, but it's always been this core person at the center of it. Well, even though like outcomes of that journey may have changed a bit, it's still him at the heart of it, is how he's currently feeling. And yes, definitely dropping the accents, because I'm not doing that voice anymore. I quit. Dropping it out.
That was always allowed.
Thank you.
Let's go next to Jenna.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I play Klak, the human Artificer, who believed he was once a Thri-kreen, but now is not so sure. With regards to the things that he has learned and how he feels about it, he thought he would feel kind of excited to like have an answer, but I think at this point, like he's learned how to feel comfortable with where he's at. That the idea of having it switch again, especially because he hasn't swapped bodies as often as like some of the other characters. Like, so he has been this way from start to almost end. I think he's kind of seeing it as something like he knows it's going to happen, but he's also kind of scared. Like, he knows that he feels like there's going to still be aspects of him that live on in whatever this actual hero is supposed to be, but like he doesn't know what will stay, like what will be left behind and what will stay, and that kind of freaks him out a little bit because he feels like he's made a fair amount of progress in his current state, and to see that, or what he thinks that will now be gone. And so was that for like nothing, or is he still able to take those lessons and put it elsewhere? So he feels like he should be kind of excited that he's getting answers, but he's not excited. He's kind of more, I think he's more scared than anything, but he knows this is what is supposed to fix what's going on, so it has to be done. But it's still freaking him out a little bit.
Awesome. And let's go next to Lyra.
Hi. Yeah, I just kind of started talking and lost my train of thought. I got it back. So Vaz has, I think like his sense of being lost was maybe more than some of the other characters. And he's sort of just been like never knowing who he is and sort of grasping it at, I think, at things. And people have sort of tried to tell him who he is. And he's always been skeptical of that, or just outright like, that's not where I'm going, that's not who I am. And I think he also fixates on his past mistakes, or like what he sees as failures, and even during this campaign, like whenever things haven't gone so well for the party and different encounters, or even just conversations or choices that he's made, he doesn't let it go. Like, he just fixates on it and fixates on it. So I think that sort of this new revelation to him is a revelation, and I think that he's like gonna maybe take the opportunity to fix some of these perceived mistakes that he's made, or even that he sort of sees as like the party's failures to actually fix things during. I think this feels like this feels right to him, because finally he could get a win out of this. But he's also a little bit skeptical because now this Modron or whoever, these Modrons are telling him who he is, right? Oh, you're a hero. I am. So he's gonna have to prove that to himself along the way. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, thank you all. As we begin, the last thing that you did was you had all collectively stepped one by one through this portal to avoid feeling the wrath of Moloch, who really, really wanted that platinum chip and probably was not going to allow the swallowing of it be the impediment to getting it. So you all skedaddled pretty quick and jumped through this portal. And as you're coming to, Probably equally quick to hop out of where you find yourselves, because one by one you keep popping up inside a hearth that is lit. So as you're popping up into this hearth, you quickly realize that there's some fire underneath your feet, and duck and get out of where you are popping in one by one, and find yourself in a pretty cozy, maybe it's a store. There's big wide windows on either side of a wooden door. The windows look out onto a street, and you can see that there's daylight out, so you can see people coming and going. On the interior where you are finding yourselves in this cozy little spot, you can see that there's kind of like a little bit of maybe a very small waiting area of just like 3 chairs or something like that, potted plant, little table with some pieces of parchment, some idle reading material perhaps. And then the other side of this small studio, there is kind of like a reclining chair. It's very cushioned and everything like that. And then there's also maybe a kind of more of like a bench like thing that's like more like maybe like a massage table or something like that. And behind all of that, along the wall, there's a desk that has a number of bottles and vials with numerous different colored inks, and a little instrument that is on the table. And standing next to it all is a figure in kind of a red robe, kind of purplish skin, stark white hair, and he seems like he kind of floats a bit. He's not actually, his feet aren't firm upon the ground. He just floats maybe 6 inches or so off of the ground. And he turns, clearly noticing the 5 of you. Well, the 5 of you plus a Modron and a fiendish larvae pop into his store, and he just kind of looks at you, kind of cocks his head to the side, and you see that he like raises his hand, and he starts like kind of tracing in the air, and there's sort of like this wispy smoke that lingers and contorts itself and starts to form symbols that rest upon the air. The symbols that you currently are seeing just sort of contort into a question mark.
Portals, am I right?
And he seems to take this in, and you see his eyes kind of roll back as he's thinking about this, and he floats over to the hearth, and he starts like pointing at symbols that kind of line the fireplace. And as you look at them, you realize that you understand what they are, because these are holy markings of Eoskar. And he smiles.
Oh.
He gestures towards you and points at the symbols. And then he creates a few more symbols in the air that seem to show like a pair of hands in prayer. And you know, through these, there's a number of symbols that appear, and it seems like you know exactly he's communicating. He's asking you if you are faithful of Eoskar.
Oh yeah, let's not all answer at once here, huh?
Ooh.
I mean, speaking for myself, just very recently came into the even just realization that the faith existed. So far, good impression. Good impression, not gonna lie. Much better than a lot of the other belief systems that I've encountered along the way. So, tentative thumbs up for me.
I think I'd still want to learn more.
I need to learn more. I like that he's a good guy, though. It sounds like.
Are you faithful?
You all just feel an intense tremor, like a minor earthquake. Shudders throughout the room, and he floats over and like kind of grabs a few things, make sure stuff doesn't fall over his paints and everything like that. And then it subsides. He's looking around.
Yeah, maybe avoid the word itself. Just speak vague about it. Symbols better. Yeah.
He paints a few more symbols on the air, and these all seem to indicate that portal would not open unless Eoskar wanted it to. And therefore, he believes that you must be allies. And then he starts to paint into the air individualized symbols. Like one's like a mask, one's maybe a three-eyed dragonborn. He one's a mantis. He seems to paint these like 5 symbols that are each iconic to each of you, and says, I know who you are. Everyone knows who you are.
I don't know how I feel about that. Although that does check out from what has happened to us.
Everyone here knows our story, or at least who we are.
He's floating as you're talking. He's like nodding his head, but he's like floating on over to the windows, and he's drawing like the drapes. He says, yes.
The whole town is hunting us.
Some
of the town is hunting us.
Oh, maybe some of that too. Yes.
I don't think it's that kind of establishment, Vaz.
Yet.
He says, you inspire both love and hate.
Oh, see? See? All right. Gonna be hard for us to get around this place.
I assume the love part comes for the more anarchist type groups. Hate from, like Harmonium and such. Yeah, I got that part right. Hey, look at me.
Some want to protect you, some want to kill you, some want to imprison you, some want to learn from you.
Wow, a lot's happened since we left.
So the help, who would we be looking to for allies?
He and at this point you like all of the symbols that belong to each of the different factions of Sigil. And he would probably sign that the Doom Guard and the Hands of Havoc, they see you as almost like Messiah figures, or that you're harbingers of the end times. And that the Harmonium and the governors and those lawfully aligned factions that wish to contain you and have you held accountable for what's happening, they see them as trying to stifle the natural erosion of the multiverse.
They see us as trying to stifle the erosion of the multiverse, or the other
No,
factions?
the factions that want to hunt you down or control you or put you in prison. So I'll put the weight on the factions are in conflict right now, and that is apparently a big deal right now.
Yeah, weren't the portals closed before because of that?
He would say yes, very good. That some fear that might happen again. Or he's heard that some portals are already closed. He would also tell you that there are other factions that, such as the Sensates and the Mind's Eye, they are infatuated with your experiences. It's become well known that you've been traveling to the various gate towns, and these factions, some of them think that maybe you are gods, and that in your journey through everything that you've experienced, through your deaths and your reincarnations, that you've become truer versions of yourself, and they want to learn how you did that. They think you're an example of becoming more whole, becoming elevated versions of oneself. The Aethar, who believe that the gods are frauds, they want to find you and kill you to prove that gods can be killed. And the Mercy Killers are in alignment with them because they believe that your reincarnations are essentially a perversion of justice, and that that death is a consequence of choices in life, and that by keep coming back, you're evading that, and it's a bad precedent for the multiverse. The Dusters, they want to help you die. They think it's a shame what is happening to you. They want to help you experience the true death that they themselves wish that they will be able to come to one day after, living full lives and things like that. But they believe that you've probably done that at this point. You just won't die. So they're trying to, they're currently working on a method to help you rest in peace. So these are just a few of the things, that are happening. But he paints a picture for you that nobody is in total agreement. Some of the factions seem to be aligning with one another, but their disputes are getting heated, especially as certain factions have been putting into practice plans to deal with you. Of course, you've experienced a little bit of this through a few interactions that you've had. But this I don't know how to pronounce the word. There'll be somebody. There'll be some smart person on YouTube that'll say you're pronouncing it completely wrong. So these creatures, this is a dabooz.
How is it spelled?
Dabus. And you would know it is sort of odd to see one here like this, because typically they are the hands and eyes of the Lady of Pain. They're typically like her custodians. They're the ones that go around and fix up things in the town, or repair the streets, or clean things up, or sometimes serve as her eyes when things aren't quite right.
Is there a way to talk to them without, the Lady of Pain hearing? Talk to this person.
Well, so maybe we need to take a moment, and I need to tell you everything that you would know about the Lady of Pain right now. Because you would know that there is nothing that happens in Sigil. She knows everything. She's omnipresent. She sees all. She hears all. She is not a god. And if you try to worship her as such, you will be struck down. Or worse, usually what she does to punish people is that she will put them in infinite labyrinths or mazes that they will never escape from. And so anybody who spends any amount of time in Sigil knows that you don't want to cross her. You don't want to be noticed by her. Because if she shows herself to you, it's probably game over.
So she knows we're here.
Probably.
This Dabus here would, at this point, introduce himself to you and say that his name is Fel. And he'll tell you, he'll gesture around to the shop and inform you that he is a tattoo artist. And he says, as you are right now, you are very recognizable, but I can help you out. And he starts putting up kind of a menu of options and prices. And he just, my prices are very reasonable. Customer satisfaction guaranteed.
Well, I'm kind of curious. I mean, our appearance, some of us has changed, but it seems like people still know who we are. So is it based only on appearance, or is there something else that kind of gives us away? I think we need like a soul tattoo is what I'm saying.
He says he'll put it out there that Cerebella and Klakacht have never died.
Right.
And by association, word has traveled quickly. And the factions have deduced who the others are, despite their changed appearances.
So if we weren't all traveling as a group, it is just physical. It's just like playing detective. It's not like we're beacons of weirdness or something. I mean, we probably are, but you know what I mean. It's, there's nothing else giving us away.
So what would these tattoos do to disguise us exactly?
He shares that for 60 gold pieces, you could get a masquerade tattoo. This is one of the tattoos from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It allows you to cast Disguise Self on yourself once per day, I think. But he has other options too. But he highly recommends that you consider this tattoo, as it may help you to move about the city undetected. So, masquerade tattoo produced by a special needle. This magic tattoo appears on your body as whatever you desire. And it allows you, as a bonus action, you can shape the tattoo into any color or pattern and move it to any area of your skin. Whatever form it takes, it is always obviously a tattoo. It can range in size from no smaller than a copper piece to an intricate work of art that covers your entire skin. As an action, you can use the tattoo to cast Disguise Self, DC 13 to discern the disguise.
Well, we need to move around the city, and I think I will be. I'll do it.
You
I'll
got
do it.
anything stronger than that?
Oh yeah, how long does Disguise Self last for?
I don't know. Is it an hour?
An hour.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you have anything more
Get a
potent?
barrel and just stick it over your head, walk in a paper bag or something.
I need 12 tattoos with Disguise Self for every hour.
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
More
oh.
than one? Can you get more than
Someone-
one?
Someone find me a very large jar.
Yep. No, that's just our lemonade. I don't know what color you are.
Green.
Oh, that's not good lemonade.
It's been left out a little too long. It's a healthy barrel of healing aloe vera. There you go.
There you
You're
go.
a salesman.
Oh. Well, I think we should. I think we should. At least then we'll have that option.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt.
We got the money, right? So, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if this is our option, then this is what we do. We have to
Mhm.
leave this shop, or else we're going to have to go back that way, and I don't know that it's still open.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I'm getting one. Maybe I don't have to get one.
Well, I'm gonna get one.
I'm still gonna get one just in case.
So you, at least the two of you, line up, and this
Mhm.
takes a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. I'm getting one too. I'm in line.
How
You
do
said it was
I
for
get it?
60 gold?
60 gold apiece, yeah.
Okay. Take that out, pay him.
Just stick the ink just in? How does it work?
Yeah, you're a special case, but he seems like he's got the expertise on how
Oh.
to get it to, it doesn't really like stick necessarily to your skin, but the ink seems to stay whole, and it keeps the image as it swims about in your body, whether it's on the surface or whether you bring it internal, whatever. The ink maintains the integrity of the image, whatever that is for you.
I
Sweet.
do. I can only make one of these. But since our level up, I have additional items I can make, and one of them is a hat of disguise. So one of us can, you can cast disguise self at will. So one of us will be good. So I can have that made for you guys for however long it takes to do that. I need to reread how long it takes to do that.
Yeah, we would be fine staying here for a bit of time while we work on this. Yes, pretty much. I'm asking if we could do a long rest here.
He would say you can't sleep here. The store will close. You know, you're welcome to stay for business hours. He's happy to give you recommendations for a number of reputable establishments in Sigil.
Mm-hmm.
So, do each of you... So, who all is getting a tattoo? I hear Zilloff, I hear Cerebella, Klakacht,
Yeah, I got to
Baldwin.
get one for Zillon too. So
He could
because
put a hat.
otherwise that's pretty recognizable, right? So
Yeah.
Sounds good. He'll do one for Zilon. Rome is there as well. He would point out that he wouldn't be able to make it work for him.
Is he able to wear a hat?
Yes, he could do that.
there you go.
There we go.
Ah,
Can use the hat.
So
That's so cute. Little Modron with the hat.
several hours pass as Fel gets you all inked up. Everybody has the monies to cover themselves.
Mm-hmm.
so Baz wants to get a bird, a big like bird on his back.
Yeah, for sure.
And Clack will do the mantis. Little praying mantis.
Sounds good. What are the forms that the others are taking?
Mine is-
No, go ahead.
Mine is have a 5-pointed crown.
Ooh.
Nice. I think Cerebella's going to get like a mother-son duo, like a peanut butter jelly kind of thing with like her little Zilloff larva.
Heck
So-
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
I think Zilloff will get a infinity sign. And just put it, I don't know, on his shoulder or something.
Sounds good.
I'm really curious what worm Zilloff is getting.
Well, he's getting I'm getting the peanut butter piece, and he's
Oh.
getting so we're
I'm
you
sorry.
know.
I thought you were getting the both, and then I was like, oh, what's
No.
he getting? So I see.
No. So it's match. Mine's on my
Ah.
ankle, and then I don't know. His is on his tail, I guess, because he's
I think
ball tail.
he instantly deploys it, though, to turn into a regular-looking dragonborn with 2 eyes, blue skin, mandolin on his back.
He's going through that rebellious phase.
Wow,
Building his
Aw.
identity, I think.
looking good.
Shut up. He just goes and he stares at himself in the mirror for a while.
Hmm.
It's just 1 hour, huh?
But if you get multiple tattoos,
1 hour of happiness a day is 1 hour more than I was getting, so...
I think
that's
while
what you looked at like before, huh? That's
Yeah.
That's what
Oh
you
wait.
looked
I
like
guess.
before?
Yes. That's what we. Yeah.
what you both
What he looked like, I guess.
what you remember
Yeah, that's
Him looking like, yeah. Interesting. Can you
While
play the man? Oh,
people,
I'm sorry, Clack. I'm sorry.
I'm
I
sorry.
did.
I was listening and I was like, oh, pause. Then I was like, oh no, never mind. No, finish your thought.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say while everyone else is getting their tattoos, Clack will make a hat for the Modron, and make sure it's enchanted with the disguise thing, and he's gonna put like whatever like little extra gears and things that he has or wires he's gonna decorate the hat with, and then he's gonna like fit it on top of the Modron's head and kind of try to explain to him how it works, and hopefully he can create a disguise and he can just cast it at will now.
He kind of does a little nod to you, a little salute.
All right.
Just the hat. He seems like he's going to be a little bit more patient for when you leave leave the establishment.
I would also like to just sort of ask Fel while he's working, like, so it's occurring to me that these folks are you said the like the hand of the Lady of Pain, and he's helping us. So like I just like sort of ask, like, are there others of you? Because I'm wondering if there is like sort of a secret, faction there.
No. He kind of hesitates a little bit, but he signs into the air. Again, the symbol of Eoskar. And puts it together with some symbols that suggest that he was a worshiper, was, but was also among the Lady of Pain's favored. So rather than sending him to the mazes, she just shunned him and cast him from her side. But he was sort of almost given maybe preferential treatment, that his punishment was not as severe as it could have been.
And I also ask him if this portal was here or if he made it.
He would sign again that it was here. There
And you
used
just
to be many more like it. Most of
built your
them are
shop
gone
around it.
now. Yes.
You say most of them are gone. Does that mean some of them are still around? Do you know where they are?
He doesn't know for sure, but he would pop up the symbol of the Aethar and suggest that their headquarters is built on what was the foundation of one of his temples. Of course, the guys that want to celebrate that gods can be killed would construct their headquarters on the shambles of a dead god's temple. So
Do we tell him what we know, what we saw?
I would just ask him. I would ask him, what do you know of of us. Why do you think we're here?
He would sign back that he believes that your presence represents. He'd probably point at your tattoo and be like, renewal, cycle, things can come back, things that were lost can come back, that nothing is gone forever, nothing can be destroyed or forgotten forever, that as long as people believe, and he would probably connect it back to his faith in Eoskar,
Mm-hmm.
and say that you represent that. As long as people have faith, they can see their traditions return.
Well, I would kind of wait a moment till everyone is done getting their tattoo, and then I would say, well, we need to. We won't be able to stay here for the night or for a rest. I think it's time that we get going.
Yeah, and Baz, as much as I just think we have to be under the impression that we're constantly being heard. You know, everything we say is known, so knowledge is dangerous sometimes, right?
Oh,
Yeah, if
we
something.
communicate with each other.
No, I'm just saying, as far as your specific question before
Mm.
about sharing information with this particular person about a particular thing, that might be very dangerous information, not just for us, but for
It's a
anyone
way,
who hears it.
it's a way to strengthen belief.
Yeah, well, that too. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm saying is, if you're going to share something, share it with the knowledge that it will be immediately known and could hurt not just us, but others.
And if it means anything, Baz, I believe us just being in this very room is belief enough for him.
That's a good point, Baldwin.
I mean, we've seen what happens with, I mean, the frogs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So could you suggest a place that we could get to that might be friendly to us for a long rest?
He would suggest, well, he'll tell you that the bottle and jug is nearby, but the Hands of Havoc and the Doom Guard have been pretty active in the hive, so could be a rowdy place to stop. He would probably mention the Ubiquitous Wayfarer, and that would be a place that is familiar to you.
If you're to ask me, we already been to the Ubiquitous Wayfarer. That's the name of that one, right? And I mean, they already seen you two before. Us three, not so much. But
Mhm.
once again, everyone else is here. But he did mention that the other two factions are, where they're it's so stupid. They're saying this prophesized messiahs. It wouldn't be terrible to go there.
So that's not like flying under the radar at all.
Well, we're not going to announce, the thing part of it, but it's better than being. It's like, wait, is that guy?
So I guess we would at least be around possibly friendly people
More
that don't
positive
want to kill
company.
us.
More
Don't wanna kill us
accepting
right away.
yeah.
Yes, the people who we've attacked and hunted down before are gonna absolutely love us.
All right. Well, if we're going to
Well-
test out these disguises, we should probably do it in a friendly atmosphere.
I couldn't agree more. Which reminds me, before I do so, I'm just gonna go to my face and just little suction cup noise comes up as I pop the mask off. It's like, probably don't need this anymore right now. Gotta stow it away. It's like a totally new person. Can't even tell the difference. How do I look? You should use a green just blob. That's it. There's nothing else there.
It's.
look great.
I think it's what I pictured was underneath the mask.
Clack's gonna move a little closer and he's gonna reach over to like what I'm assuming is the face region, and with his hand he's gonna go boop, 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 and just try to draw a little smiley face in the goop.
I would say it kind of like I don't know, gack is the proper word for it. It sticks for a little bit.
But then yeah, just kind of like you see it there, and then it just kind of like settles and like reforms.
So where
close
are we
enough.
headed? Where are we headed, everyone?
The shambling, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Bile and jug.
Ubiquitous. Oh,
Bottle and
I've
jug.
heard Bottle and Jug and the Ubiquitous Wayfarer. I
Okay.
was not sure which
Well,
one you were suggesting.
Do we
Bottle and
have a coin?
Oh, you didn't suggest one. Well, what I would suggest, no matter which one we go to, we don't all walk in together. No matter what we look like, maybe it's good to just kind of enter in chunks. So it's like a couple people or 3 people, not a group
could
of
s-
5 or 6, right?
Well, we
Yeah,
could
I slip through a window.
we could go in like in pairs or something, but we should stay close.
Right. I'm
Mhm.
just saying we don't enter and all look like here's that
Arms.
throng of people again. Yeah.
Arms interlocked together, waltz in the front door, say, "We'd like a room, please."
Yeah, we can all stay in the same place, everything like that. Just maybe break up the entrance just a little bit. That's just my thought.
I'm down for that.
So which are we going to?
The shambling one, it sounds
And
like.
jug.
I don't know what the shambling one is because
I-
Bottle and
It's
jug.
not.
Bottle and jug.
Oh,
bottle and jug. Okay.
Bottle and jug.
yeah, bottle and
Yes.
jug. I was like, what's the shambling one? Did we
Yeah.
say something about a shambling? I guess it doesn't exist.
Weird.
Yeah.
There's the smoldering on
jug.
the map. There's the smoldering corpse bar. Is that what you
Oh,
were
You
getting
could
at?
go get a
Yes.
drink there, but
Yeah.
yes.
Maybe that's where your brain was.
Shambling
Yeah.
corpse zombie. Yeah, that is definitely where my mind went.
Okay.
I wa-
Go ahead.
No, it's stupid. Go ahead.
No,
You're
I
fine.
want to hear it. Now I want to
Yeah.
hear it.
I once heard of a being called a shamware that lurks in darkness and attacks you when you're not expecting it. It's an absolutely terrifying creature from my past I can recall at some point. Don't ever find one.
Why not?
I just said it's a horrible creature that lurks in darkness and attacks you when you least expect it. Don't ever find it.
All
It's
right.
horrible. Terrible thing.
All right.
Oh.
To bottle and chug.
Oh, and jug.
Okay. So you step out of Fell's tattoo parlor and you find yourselves on the very smoggy streets of Sigil. So smoggy, in fact, that when you look up, you can't see across to the other side of the ring from where you're standing. This is the impoverished area of town, and it definitely has that feel and that smell and that look as you gaze up and down the streets at these decrepit, foreclosed looking buildings, boarded up, many of them. Others are just overgrown with razor vine that hasn't been tended to. You feel like you can hear screams that pierce through the ambiance, or cries. The street where you're coming out on is fairly vacant. Not a lot of foot traffic, but there are a couple of passersby. You see maybe one of the dusters carrying a wheelbarrow that's got a body in it that's moving down the street. Seems like he pulls his cloak over his eyes and doesn't want to make eye contact and just kind of shuffles past you.
Baz would do like the same with the cloak, kind of put the cloak over. And I think that I would want to go and sort of just look at one of these empty buildings or closed buildings. And like, I'm thinking, does this look like a place we could actually just go into and get shelter and
Sure.
not have to deal with anybody?
Make a perception check. Seems uninhabited.
Looks great. I don't see anything in here. We should just go in.
I mean, it would be less expensive, right?
I mean, I'm just thinking about it like we go in and we say, hey, we need some rooms for the night. I feel like the fewer conversations, better.
Mm-hmm.
But
So are you all transformed at this point?
I thought that was the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just
Okay.
want to keep in
Mhm.
mind, as you're having conversations, you have an hour.
An
Right.
hour.
I don't know,
Um,
get there
yes,
better.
you would look.
Short.
You would look to me. I would have. I would look like an Aarakocra monk. It's almost like a stork with a long beak. As I'm talking to you all, and I would say, well, I think we just go get a room and call it a night. We need to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
So the group
Let's go.
sounds like is going to continue to try to move in the direction of the bottle and jug. You move a few blocks, and you see a large fire coming from that direction. A big 3-story building in the direction that you're moving, like at the end of the street, is just on the top floor. You can see the windows, the big bursts of flame kind of engulfing the top floor. It seems to very quickly spread and engulf that area. And on the street level, you can see that there seems to be a small mob. There's definitely a couple, we'll say two larger hulking figures wearing plate mail that seems to almost be constructed of like bone-like material. Pauldrons with big kind of spikes on it, big gnarly helmet. And each of these two figures have these great swords that seem to carry a little bit of a smoky aura around them. And they are addressing a couple of robed figures that have bottles in their hands that have a flame in it, and those are also emitting kind of a smoky vapor, almost like magical Molotov cocktails. And you can hear the two plate wearers kind of rallying the troops almost. And you can see that people are kind of scattering from... There's a lot of vandalism apparently happening over in this area. One of the larger figures just yells out, "The harbingers of oblivion have showed us the way." They will not be captured. The Harmonium are on their tails. The Harmonium just wish to resist the asinine rules that the powers have put in place to try to slow and halt the inevitable decay. All the factions are trying to slow the cycle. We will put them in their place. Together, brothers, we will show them the folly of their actions. They're just holding up their swords, and all of these arsonists around them are holding up their bottles. They're just chucking them now at like other buildings nearby.
Do we recognize them as one of the factions that we know?
These are Havoc dudes, right?
I
Is that
think, yeah, didn't you? When
There was, like-
you faced a hand of Havoc in Automata,
Some
maybe?
Mechanist-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was in
Yeah.
the sewers. There was two of them who were rather, I think, high.
Yes.
Yes.
The plate wearers you would recognize as being Doomguard, but the others are the Hands of Havoc.
Does it look like that building is the bottle and jug?
No, it doesn't look like that.
Oh, good.
But you know, the direction in which you're going seems to be a pretty unstable place.
Good. A whisper.
Look, everybody, it's our allies.
I think they're talking about us.
We will be
Uh-huh.
safe here.
You know, this
And-
does bring up an interesting point.
hmm
What better place to cause some havoc than a well-guarded and, lavish place like a casino, maybe? I mean, it would help to, keep things busy on the floor while we do other things. I'm just putting it out there. Down with the establishment.
We better move quick.
Yeah, are we gonna go talk to them? Because Baz looks like his father right now.
Maybe. I look like a little kobold in like a nurse gown.
I look like
Aw.
a what's it called? A little green tiefling with too much hair. And a
Like,
mushroom growing out of their head.
go talk to them and see, like, I mean, they won't recognize us now. It's probably good, but maybe like we could see where we can meet up with them at another time.
I'm sure we'll see him.
I don't know.
Maybe we just, I don't know. I'd like to keep our secrets close for now. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get through this way. How much time do we have left?
I'd say 10 minutes have passed.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this was just like you've moved like 2 blocks and you can see this.
All right. It's already, yeah, it's like,
Can we just go through?
Let's go around.
I don't know who we are.
Loop around. Loop around, find another place, or
yeah, can we go down another block and see if this is going on all over?
You move down. Yes, you move down another block, and that initial group, they're kind of spreading out, like they're divvying up different blocks, and like there's like a team right now that you see that has moved off of that bigger group, about 4 Hands of Havoc chucking their vials, and pretty soon like this whole block is going to be ablaze. There's no, I mean, there's no like fire department that's coming out and stopping this. Like they're just razing this area to the ground.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a safe place for us.
Maybe we should try the ubiquitous wayfarer.
Yes, I'd say that's probably the best thing to do.
I mean, would we know how long it takes to get there?
You don't. because time and travel and Sigil, as you've already experienced, I think is not a
Different.
precise science.
Mhm.
Yes.
We know where we want to go, and we know what ward it's in at least.
So if we just picture us getting there as fast as we can, maybe we'll just get there.
Are there any? Do we see any of those? What were they called? The barriers or the guides on anywhere?
So Barriers probably yes. They it's a pretty diverse place. But touts, you don't see anyone that's necessarily
Carissa
a
was.
guide. And I think you already know this, like, because I think when you emerged from the mortuary the first time, Parissa was like one of the only ones over there. Like the touts don't hang out in this area typically, but she was, is looking for her first job.
Building reputation.
But
Well, is that where we're going then? We're heading that way?
Well, I
Yes.
think that makes sense. I mean, for now, if we can't make it, then we pivot, right? We come up
Mhm.
with plan B.
unless you want to fight these guys, no. Okay.
I don't think so.
So you start making your way to the ubiquitous Wayfarer, which I think is in the lower ward.
Lower ward.
Up here.
Yeah, there it is.
So as you start to make your way to that section of the city, you start to move out of the impoverished area and into more of the kind of middle class area, but a place that's a little bit more secured as it is closer to some of the other factions' headquarters, the Armory, the Great Foundry. And you start to get into streets that are a little bit more robust, a little bit more lively. You pick back up on some of the comforts of the big city, smells of street food and kids laughing, just a little bit more of a brighter atmosphere. And all of this, the sounds of the city is pierced by a thunder-voiced individual in a public square that you are passing through to get to where you're going. And you can see there's a big crowd that is circled around this pavilion, and there is a individual in like kind of a blue embroidered tunic, who is just addressing the crowd and saying, "My friends, we must look within for growth and understanding. The undying seekers serve as the prime example of what we can become and transform into once we fully realize our potential. And we do that through experience and exploration, just as they have. They have seen the Outlands. They have visited the gate towns. They have seen the diversity that exists in the multiverse. And this individual is joined by another, I believe a halfling. You can correct me if I'm misremembering this, but Zilloff had an interaction with a sensate pretty early on, and she holds up a stone, and she says, "It is true. It is not an easy path. I have experienced firsthand the depths of despair that are required to walk this path of understanding, but it is achievable." And they're going on, and you can see some of the crowd is not some are listening and seem to be taking to it, but there's like a good 50-50 split. And there are others in the crowd that are just yelling and kind of countering their points and saying, the Undying Seekers have gone too far. They cannot die. That is not a luxury that we all have. And there are others that are shouting and they are saying, we can't even go out and take this journey. The portals are closed. They're closing. And you can see like some people, this is news to them. They had not heard this. And there's kind of like a simmering panic among the crowd once they hear that the portals are closed.
Well, that's what happens when you fire all the doormen, I guess, or kill them or kick them out or whatever. Yeah. Well, I say that to you guys. I'm not going to get involved in this debate.
I think it's best we don't. I guess.
Yes. I'm going to say that I'm going to try not to, but I will definitely be looking at the halfling as I walk by.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, it's just everything that she is saying to this crowd is very sincere. And you can sense it. You are very in tune with, some of the things that they're saying are very true. Like you've come to know yourself in very different ways. And you could see just this twinkle of sincerity and like she, that she carries that pain that Zilloff felt and it has changed her.
It's kind of like because he wants to so bad go up and talk to this person, but he knows that we have to kind of keep it to ourselves. And he does not want to make a decision for himself or for the group at this point. So he will kind of lean that direction for a bit, kind of listen, kind of almost hope to be recognized by this halfling, but will continue to move on.
The group shuffles on away from that chaos, and it isn't long. You walk about 5 more minutes and you'll get to the Ubiquitous Wayfarer, but you can see the aftermath as it seems like that crowd kind of disperses, and people are kind of fleeing to the 4 winds of Sigil, maybe to go and check the theory about the portals being closed or what have you. But either way, you arrive at the Ubiquitous Wayfarer, 3-story tavern, which is itself, actually some of that crowd is probably coming over here because the Ubiquitous Wayfarer is known for being a place that houses dozens upon dozens of portals in its many doors and its many rooms. And so you will enter in. We'll say that you enter in, you've got about 30 minutes probably left by the time that you enter. And looking at the time, I think we will take a sizable break here. So those of you that are hanging out with us, thanks for doing so. We'll be back in maybe about 15 minutes or so. And we'll pick back up with the last little bit of our session here tonight. So if you haven't done so already, please come and join us in our Discord server. We'd love to have you. Come talk about the game. Come find games to sign up for. And while you're doing that, we will take our break and we will see you in just a few minutes. Hey, everybody. We are back. Thanks for hanging out with us. So our characters have just traveled across Sigil on their way to try to get some sleep. I guess. I think that's kind of the end goal here. They're going to the Ubiquitous Wayfarer. They have gotten there after a number of sightings of various factions taking their, I guess, their philosophies kind of to the extreme and holding the characters up as kind of projecting whatever they think, whatever their philosophies are. They've just kind of projected that onto the characters and are holding them up to be either paragons or foils or villains for however they see that. But now the group has, and the group is all disguised right now. They have these magical tattoos that they got from Fel that are allowing them to sort of be incognito a bit, but they've only got about 30 minutes or so left of that effect as they step through the front door to the ubiquitous Wayfarer. And it is a familiar sight. You all have been here before. As you step into the tap room, you can look up and you can see the two balconies overhead that kind of ring the perimeter of the room, which are lined with all sorts of doors. Some of them lead to rooms that you can book, but others you are led to believe are supposedly portals that various keys might connect you to various parts of the multiverse. It is rather busy here, the ubiquitous Wayfarer. Most of the booths and tables are occupied. Waitresses and the wait staff are pretty hastily bringing out ale and food to the many tables, one of which is occupied by a familiar Barriar that you are acquainted with, your guide, Parissa. This was one of her hangouts. And she is sitting, well, she's, I guess, sitting, on her goatish legs or whatever. She is standing, I guess, at a table. And it looks like she has kind of a defensive looking expression on her face, and it appears like she's being interrogated. There are, we'll say, 3 figures standing around the table. One of them is wearing black robes, and has the emblem of the Aethar, kind of almost like has like a leather leather vest that makes up the top piece of the gown, and it has like the symbol of the Aethar imprinted on it, embossed on it. And with her are 2 individuals that are armed and wear what do they wear? Well, you would recognize them as mercy killers. They've got the kind of the uniform of those figures that you saw back in Cursed that you dealt with. Not the exact same people, but 2 agents of the mercy killers with her. It seems like they are interrogating her a bit. You would also see up at the tavern bar, behind it is, what is her name? Reese, the proprietor of the ubiquitous Wayfarer. She's like middle-aged woman. Rianne. Kind of a no-nonsense type character. She's kind of hustling, slinging drinks and whatnot, but you know that if you want to get a room, she would be the person to talk to. There was some talk of the group coming in here in shifts.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm going to look like a blue dragonborn, like an older lady blue dragonborn, and I'm going to come in with my son.
Sounds good.
Somebody else could join us if they wanted to, but we're just
I
gonna
will.
come in. Oh, nice of you to join
Because
us.
I said I was a little green kobold wearing a nurse's gown.
You fit right in.
I'm just gonna wait like another minute or 2 before I actually walk in, so it's like, okay, like it's not we're actually coming in as a group. but I'll kind of meander in as well.
Okay, so I hear Cerebella and Baldwin are like the initial two in. So I'll put it to you. Is there anything that you wish to do as you take in the sights?
I guess any super prying eyes, like the second the three troop of us walk in. Anyone who's staring a little too long.
Make a perception check.
Oop, doop. It's this button.
19. It's pretty busy in here, so it is fairly difficult to tell, but you do kind of a very slow scan around the tavern, and your best sense is that it is so crowded in here. If you are sticking out, it doesn't really appear that anybody has noticed.
Well, who wants to take charge for us getting the rooms? Do you want to do it? Should I do it? Does your son want to do it?
Do you want it? Is that something you want to do? I mean, I can give you some money. You could. Would that feel, good to do?
Are you talking to Zillon or are you talking to Baldwin?
Zillon. I'm talking to Zillon. I'm sorry. I thought you were role playing his hesitancy or something.
I think he's just like, God, isn't it embarrassing enough? I'm gonna come in here with. You look like my mom.
Oh,
That's the
thank you
idea,
so
isn't it?
much.
That you're trying to look like my mom.
Yeah. I don't know what she looked like, but I just thought it might make you feel more part of things, accepted. I don't know.
I don't know like how
Anyway.
to respond to this, but like immediately I was just thinking, what is like the saddest thing that he could say? Oh, I don't know what she looks like either. I don't know if he would say that. Is that what he would say? Okay.
Yeah, he would say that.
He'll just hit you with that.
All right. Why don't you get us a room then?
Okay. He takes the money. He goes to the bar.
And there he goes. He's all grown up, getting his own rooms now.
I know. I'm so proud.
Or he's going to try and spend the money just to get a drink. Do you think he's actually going to get the rooms? You did give him quite a few coins.
You got to give them a little bit of freedom so they can show what they're capable of, That's how trust is built.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, they just go out and party too hard. You just got to let it go a little bit. He's still within eyesight, I think he'll do a good job.
There is a bit of a hush that comes over the quarter of the tap room, I guess, where Parissa is situated. And you notice that there's a little bit of commotion there. The woman in the black robes just like cleared the table and like dumped everything off of the table, and one of the mercy killers like flips it over. And now they're all like standing like pretty close around Parissa in a very intimidated kind of stance.
I feel a little sorry for her, but she was the one that kind of took us to the what place to begin with, right?
Well, do you really think it was her fault?
I don't know. And that lack of trust, see, that becomes, I don't know. I don't know that she wasn't involved, so makes me nervous.
If Baz would like to come into the building, if he isn't.
Okay,
then-
is the rest of you coming in at this point?
Sure.
I would like to kind of, especially if there's attention being drawn to like one area, I'd like to kind of go venture around where those portals or some of the portals are, not go too close, but just kind of see if they look like they're closed.
Well, it would be difficult for you to ascertain that, because to be able to check a portal, you'd need to have the key.
Oh, okay.
But it is true that you don't see anybody coming or going from the portals.
Okay. Like
Um,
from any of them, is it like clear that there's nobody coming and going, or does it just look like?
Yeah, I think you would be able to. Like, it's not like people are coming and going from the portals all the time, but you feel like it is noticeable that you don't even see in the period of time that maybe you sit here and kind of watch them for 10 minutes, that you don't even see one open and close. So
Can I hear what's happening with the Parissa? Can we like hear the conversation that's happening? I missed it. She was being
yeah,
interrogated.
it is not a hushed conversation. It's actually rather loud. So you and probably a dozen others are just watching, and as you kind of lean in, move over into that quarter so you can get good sight on what's happening. The Aethar woman is kind of gesturing very threateningly towards Parissa and saying, "We just need a lead. We can take care of everything else. We have a theory. The so-called Undying Seekers are all killed within minutes of each other. They will cease to exist, thus proving that they are not gods." And the Mercy Killers are like behind, and they're maybe one of them's kind of playing with his dagger a little bit, and he just says, "Yeah, we can't allow them to escape the consequences of death." Sends a ripple effect throughout the multiverse. Parissa, you were the last person that saw them. And Parissa is just like, "Look, all I can tell you is that they didn't pay me a whole lot. If they did, you know that I'm being honest. I don't know where they are. If I did, well, I'm not saying necessarily that I'd give them up, but I'm just being honest. That you're gonna have to bark up a different tree." And they just continue to fish. Anything, any little piece of information you can give us could be wildly helpful.
Does it look like this whole room is against them, or that? Yeah, like how is this interrogation happening? Just like at this bar, whatever. Because I mean, Baz likes Parissa and had a nice, conversation with them, and Parissa just walked us around, made sure we were safe. And she found her friend, I forget what the friend's name was the one that took us to Shemeska or told us about that.
It's certainly nobody's like jumping to the defense. Like nobody's like getting involved. Everyone's just a looky-loo, Something interesting is happening in the tavern, and so they're watching idly out of more or less just curiosity.
I'm not getting involved at this point, but just kind of like wondering if this sort of thing is happening here all the time now.
Seems like it passes. They're not getting anything out of Parissa. She's telling the truth. She doesn't know anything about where you went. The last time you talked to her, you were supposed to rendezvous with her here after your business down at the when you were trying to go get your job or whatever, but you never came back. So she like honestly doesn't know what happened to you. So they seem to drop it a bit. And they kind of make like a public, like if anybody knows anything about the 5 pretenders, we would pay handsomely for information. And this, reverberates throughout the bar, and then the 3 of them leave pretty much at the same time as Zillon. Are we still calling him Zillon? I guess we are. It's a pet name at this point. Zillon returns back with a couple sets of keys.
Well, there you go, Baldwin. See? Nice job, Zillon. I've been calling him Zilloff sometimes too, because I know the other Zilloff has. It gets a little confusing, but we we sometimes do call him that because that's his name. But now the thing is, we've got a couple of keys, and how do we get this to you guys? I I was thinking he would just get like the rooms for the ones that came in, and you guys would be responsible for getting your own rooms. But I mean, I guess you could. I didn't really think about it.
Clack will like pretend maybe like that he's waiting in line after Zilloff on. And once he's kind of like moved out of the way, he would place an order for, I guess, like two rooms or whatever the appropriate amount of rooms would be needed for a 4-person group. Like, some rooms, please, and then they're gonna slide over some money.
Okay. Rayanne will take your money and give you 2 keys. At this point, I'm not gonna mess around with how much the rooms cost. You've got the money, you pay for it.
Definitely, yeah. Yep. Yeah. And he won't like spend too long on it. Just be like, room, thank you very much, and then he's gonna like kind of shuffle on over in their new tiefling form and give the keys to half the group. And I'm sure like once we're actually up there, then we can like actually reconvene. But for now, he's just like pretending he doesn't know you.
Sure. Well, with about 15 minutes left on your disguise self spells, you got no problem getting up there in whatever fashion. You've got, the intent is that you're not being too overt, that you're all together. But once you're up there, you can find your way into the same room. As I'm sure you've got some discussions that you wish to have about the heist, the jailbreak, whatever you want to call it, the plan to enter Fortune's Wheel and try to get your former selves from Shemeshka. So you do so. You convene around, in one of the double rooms. It's got 2 beds, modest, dressings and furniture and whatnot, hearth, but a comfortable place to put together a plan. And that's probably what will take up the rest of the session. Will be you discussing what you wish to do in the following session.
Well,
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. I was gonna be like, so we know that there's like rooms that we definitely haven't been in. Where do you think Shemeska would keep the heroes?
Well, if I were someone trying to guard something very personal or close that needs to be hidden away, well, it is a casino. I'm sure a vault would be a number 1 place to put it. But I don't know if she wants to put all her golds into one room basket. I don't know the proper term for this one because it's a bunch of money and other things that she has.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps somewhere more personal to her, like a study or her own personal office.
Rome, do you happen to know?
Through using the Mimir, you can communicate with Rome. I think, did he tell you this already? Either he told you this or the
fiend
scholar did, but you've got there's some high roller rooms that are accessible
Oh.
through Fortune's Wheel. Like the actual wheel is a portal, and the key to the portal is a platinum chip.
Gotcha.
That'd be a important place to start. If that bounty hunter already had access to it, he probably would need to be somewhere more closer and private for such things. Could be another place to start. I remember she also descended from the grand staircase upon first meeting her, but that probably is all part of a stage act. Who knows?
Oh, it was Moloch. I think Moloch told you because Moloch had been there.
Yeah, that's why I pulled
Mm.
out the chip, because I was like, "Oh, like this," because I was stupid and just like flashed
But we got
that.
confirmation. We
Yeah,
got
that's
confirmation
true.
that it was
There
that.
you go. That
Mhm.
was my plan. Yeah. I am curious. So we've had encounters where people have been in like jars. Like, do you think these heroes are going to be people, or could they be something else when we find them?
I don't really wish to think on that topic quite yet.
Okay.
Yes, they could have been.
We only
If
know
they are strong enough, and they are still in their form, hopefully. I guess if we were strong enough, huh?
Or
I
if they
don't
were
know.
trapped in something. I'm just saying that might be something, you know. I mean, maybe they will be just like chained up in a room somewhere, and that would be the easiest. But you know, things are not always what they seem. So just kind of putting that out there that maybe we have to, you know, think outside the box as we're playing hide and seek with them too.
I guess a topic of discussion that we could start with is, I know we've all been traveling each other for a very long time, but what are you good at in terms for, breaking into, a place and then taking something out of it that's not supposed to, be taken out?
Wait, tell me how you got that platinum coin?
Well, it was on the guy that tried to kill us.
Which guy?
The one
Oh,
that
dude.
had
The one
the
that kept
son,
the bug.
the guy that went fishing with his
dad.
kid
The
and then was
dad.
following us.
Zephistopheles.
Zephistoph, yeah, his name was Zeph.
That was his name?
I think so. I think that's what his kid said.
When we were at the portal, where we were fighting back a bunch of demons and there was all like the explosives and stuff. He almost killed me. I remember
Yeah,
it quite
he
clearly.
almost killed Clack.
Well, that happens quite often, almost dying. But someone picked it up off of him before we left that place.
So that mean we think he used that as the key to the on the wheel portal. That's maybe how he got where he got. Because I'm trying to figure out like.
Well,
what
it's
that
probably a
tells us,
means
though.
of getting closer to the fiend who we seek. If you're in their more important areas, it's most likely to believe that they're closer by.
Well, in terms of sneaking, I'm actually quite good at that. And I'm good at investigating for things. And once we get ourselves some sleep, I could probably make something to help us, though I'd have to take a closer look at my repertoire. But as I stand right now, I'm actually better built for sneaking around. I have a +10 to my stealth and a 24 passive investigation.
Wow.
I took observant.
That's very observant.
Very
I'm good
observant.
at looking at things, getting to places I shouldn't be in as long as there is a 1-inch gap. And once every rest, I'd say, I can just say goodbye to this plane and just drift somewhere else for a little bit and then come right back. Some could
That's
say
cool.
some could say I go ethereal for one.
Oh.
I haven't had a chance to use it yet because I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but
I was gonna
it
say
can
I
let
have
me
thieves tools, but that's way better.
it can let me fly. It can let me go through walls and see things that are not on this plane, but in that plane. But only for I'd say 6 seconds.
Oh, okay. Very briefly.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
And once a day?
Once a short rest.
Short rest, okay.
I can
Okay.
always make Barry come and help us out. Nobody can really see him, and he usually does what I ask him to. He's kind of my unseen servant. And I am able to make a person invisible for a short period of time, like, you know, about a minute, but they can do a lot of stuff while they're invisible. And I bet you in the morning I'll be able to link us telepathically so that we can, talk in each other's heads. Can't do it right now, but I'm pretty sure tomorrow I'll be able to.
That reminds me also, I think tomorrow I can enhance someone's ability to do stuff. I think I just remembered that as well.
Tomorrow.
We were thinking of the mechanics. I think we got down as far as who can do what.
Yeah.
And once we get there, we'll be able to know. But how about allies? Is there any? What are we thinking about allies?
Does the white dragon count?
Well, we have Renee.
I'm sorry, you said Renee?
The time dragon, yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. We do have Renee. She gave us something.
You have her scale.
We have her scale. Yes, we picked up her scale. And she said that we could use that to call her when we needed her. If I remember right.
If so.
Oh. I also have the fungus from the frog. Troll giant.
You're
I
just
don't know
making
what it
so
does.
many friends,
He come
aren't you?
too? Does he? I forget. Does he
I
come
don't
too?
know. Is there a way that I could like examine this thing and like see if there's a hint to what it does? Because I don't actually think
Like
he
a
told us
nature check?
what it does. Yeah. Nature. Pretty good at nature, apparently.
A 15. That mushroom. If you consume it, it gives you the effects of a potion of water breathing.
Huh. That is definitely not the time I would have thought to use this, but I'm glad I know that now. There's these weird air sacs in the fungus where if you eat it, it gives you some chance to breathe underwater, is what I have gained from my investigation of this fungus.
Now, if the vault happens to be one that like starts to slowly fill with water because we trigger some trap or something, you just eat your mushroom. We're good to go.
I think at some point Rome will communicate to you through the Mimir, asking you what you want him to do. Because he suspects it would be a terrible idea for him to go there, just given how heavy the security is.
Mm-hmm.
And she really wants you, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. What do? We worked so hard to find him. Maybe like Zilloff and Rome can kind of hang out together while we do the heist because I don't want Zilon to get hurt either.
Yeah.
What
Does
Go ahead.
Rome know where the heroes are? Like specifically, like we have an idea of where they could be, but does Rome
he
know?
wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
Just generally that Shemeshka would be the key to finding them.
Okay.
Is there something that you could do to help? What could you do? What kind of things can you do?
He does a cartwheel.
That's something.
Oh,
He flies a little bit. He kind of hovers a couple feet off the ground. He
You
does
know,
a bow.
I feel like we don't have anywhere safe to keep them.
yeah, it's not really a ton of safe places. Only thing I could think of is yeah, no.
He was at that walking library for a while. I don't know if they'd want him back there.
Hey, Clack,
Yeah.
do you still have that bag? I don't know. There's a little bit. You have Lego holding, right?
Yeah, I have a bag of holding.
You don't need to breathe, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They need. Oh, they do. So wait, they do breathe?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I can double check, but I'm almost positive they breathe. They're not constructs. They're not constructs. They're living creatures, right?
they got lips.
That's true. They do have lips.
That's what I remember. Is they have lips.
You have lips.
I will double check. Yes. They don't have the feature that says that they don't have to breathe.
Okay.
Never mind.
I mean, I could like try to find something to to conjure something to come and help us, or I might be able. So I have this thing that I might be able to like sort of spy on somebody, but I don't know. Like if I don't do it really well, then I will get caught, and it's sort of risky. So I don't think I really.
What is it?
Well, I could scry on like Shemeska and sort of see what's going on.
Oh, but they know.
If I fail, yeah. I mean, if it's a, yeah. So it's like a. I mean, I'm sure that.
Could you scry on anything else that might not be her?
Oh yeah,
Just
like
spy
that
on a
that little
place?
imp thing that was there with her. Remember him?
It's a creature. I have to have a specific creature, and yeah, I mean, I have to be familiar with them. The more familiar with them I am, the better, because that's more likely that I'll have a better chance of having it work.
What about the heroes? Are we able to scry on the heroes? Because aren't we kind of them?
I
So
don't
aren't we kind
know.
of familiar with them?
Am I familiar with myself?
Yeah. Oh,
Ugh.
I'm not even confident on that answer.
Well,
I mean, so oh well. The other thing is maybe I could try to like convince some creature to do something that I want them to, like to yeah, it takes a while. I think, does this one take a while to cast it? No. Yes, I could like magically command a creature to have it do something or not do something specifically. So if there was like a guard or something.
So like, you don't see the
Hmm.
5 people who just passed by.
Oh, don't stop us. We're gonna open this door.
yes.
That sort of thing.
Okay.
Are
I
we
guess
thinking of getting these Havoc and Doomguard involved somehow?
Yeah, you had asked about allies. I was curious if you had some thoughts on that.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily. I would, it seems like they are kind of looking for anything to spark it. If there was just some way to get them a message, time, and a place, I'm sure they would try to be there.
they could make a good distraction.
Mm.
Yeah, because could we convince them to help us do our thing. I mean, could we really convince them to sort of like storm the casino with us?
Seems like they have no problem burning their own houses or areas down. So I would be sure that it'd be harder to stop them than to convince them.
And even if they're not technically our allies, can we use that momentum for a distraction? Like, we don't necessarily have to be allied with a group to benefit from their own chaos that they bring, right?
We would
I
just
mean, in
have to
fact,
send a
we could
message
get
and tell
all the
them to
groups
get there.
yeah. I mean,
I
the more fighting, the more chaos, maybe the easier time we would have of it.
well, I think. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say if we could try to whip them up into a frenzy, like without, so somehow like leak information that we've been spotted in town or something like that.
We've been
Mhm.
spotted in a casino just on the other side of the ring.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Oh, pretty much saying that, hey, we're at the casino. Just blatantly say, hey, we're over here. But like, it's like, pass it from one person to another. It's like, oh, I hear they have them at the casino. They're at the casino. Tell everyone, and that would stir quite a frenzy. But also, they may not want to go to the casino because they know it's ruled by a powerful, fiend who don't take no crap from nobody because she's got a lot of money.
Yeah. But I hate to bring this up now, but I think it'd be better now than later. We signed a contract with Shemeska, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did it say again?
I honestly, that is all I remember.
So long ago.
And I really, at that point, I'm going to be honest, wasn't really paying attention much.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it was something about bringing Rome back and payment of like 300 gold or something like that. I don't know why 300 sticks in my brain right now, but
We had an advance.
But
we had an advance of 300.
at the time, she knew. I mean, she knows who we are. She knew who we were,
Mm-hmm.
and she sent us out on this mission. I mean, it was a sham, right? Because Rome isn't her accountant. Are you? Are you an accountant?
Mm-mm.
Do you hold any secret information about this place? Or her books?
Mm-mm.
I'm just thinking that the contract was probably pretty nasty if she knew who we were at the time and we signed it.
I'm waiting for Dawson to pull out the.
The notes I have was has a job for us. Track a rogue Mojon named R04M, a runaway accountant who fled to the outlands, possibly in one of the gate towns. Check Mechanist first.
Hmm.
So, and then she
Yeah.
gave us gate key, so on and so forth. And then a kiss from her as the grand prize was the last thing I wrote.
Yep. I wrote that too. I wonder why
And
that seems so significant.
Hey, you can still
Bro-
collect on that. You got Rome
Yeah.
right here.
Well, yeah, I didn't write anything about contract, but it was the 300 gold up front each. We're investigating, capture and bring back alive. It left on its own accord. She can't really explain it, So, yeah, that's
Yeah, I
that's
just
that.
don't remember if we signed a contract or not, but I feel like we did.
We did sign something.
I don't have anything about a contract either, though. I only have that information that we did. You have something that says we signed something? This is like how
I believe you did.
I
no.
do my life works too. Like, did we sign something?
Yes. So signed.
Wow. My notes.
Not yes, we signed something.
I
Great.
feel like we
Okay.
should have gotten a copy of that.
Well, I feel like our characters would remember signing, even if the players are like, I was probably like just trying to get, okay, what are we going after and where could it be that I, wasn't like, we signed a contract, but
My
yeah.
character definitely, I barely
Yeah.
remember that, but
It seems significant. So your concern is what happens if we don't abide by the contract?
Mhm. Well, I mean, there's always there's in my mind there's a number of ways I know as he's kind of thinking about all these different characters in his head at this point and all these different people. There are a number of ways that things can be things could be interpreted. I guess it's just that how, like, it was a probably very longly worded contract that we signed, right? Where everything was, we could assume if it was a double, there weren't any loopholes.
Most likely. Does seem like the way they operate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rome starts talking to the Mimir, and then the Mimir says, "Are you concerned that you signed an infernal contract?"
Yes.
Yes.
Well, now I am. I didn't even know said. What is an infernal contract?
Rome talks to the Mimir a little bit more. Well, if your contract was to bring me back to her, maybe that's the easiest answer.
Wait, didn't you just say we shouldn't bring you back there?
That was before he
He's
knew.
just talking.
Mm,
Rome is scared, but
Oh,
is willing to do this if you ask it. Sacrifices need to be made to save the others.
okay. So, if we were to utilize this option of bringing Rome to Shemeska, we do that. What happens then? We get we get cash, or it become maybe. Do you think it would be a trap?
She'll probably try and kill us, trap
Yeah.
us. You really think she's gonna let us just walk away after all this?
That's my question.
Because I
'cause,
don't.
yeah, if this has happened time and time again, she's probably ready for that option.
This is why I'm trying to see if there's allies we could find. Are there anyone strong enough that definitely wouldn't want these blood wars to happen? Obviously, this Shemeshka is tampering with the balance. Hell, how about the Lady of Pain herself? Would she have something to do with it?
This is a sizable seismic tremor.
Oh,
Yeah, don't do that again, please.
I felt that.
sorry.
I felt it this time. What if we could trap her wherever she's got us trapped?
We have to figure out where we're trapped now, don't we? You know, I think she did. If I remember one thing about the contract, because my memory is so peak, as some people have said, is that she was looking for answers to our situation if we completed it.
yeah, she did promise that she
That's
was
an
going to look
answer.
into our situation.
And this is a legally binding infernal contract. She's obligated to fulfill it.
It might not have an answer we like, though. I mean, because my impression is she didn't need to look into our situation. She said she was going to, but she
Well,
she already knew,
she already
right?
knew. But that's the
So
thing. Well, we didn't know that she did. That she
right,
knew.
but her information might be, yes, I know what's going on with you, and you all need to die within 6 seconds of each other, so you don't come back again. You know what I mean? Like that might be the answer she gives. And then she could still be fulfilling her end of the deal.
Do we have a sense that she could see through our disguises?
I'm sure she can.
I'm sure.
Because
Probably.
I'm just thinking like we can kind of maybe try to scope out the casino in disguise.
Yeah. I wonder if any of our other selves ever brought Rome back to her.
Well, ask Rome. Rome.
Mm-mm.
This is the
Oh,
farthest. This is the farthest.
we're the high achievers.
Just to ask a question about where. I believe someone said they had manacles of some magical sort. Who has those? What do they do?
Let me pull them up. I was looking at potential spells to swap out, but artificers really don't have a ton of spells. They're there. Okay. You can use an action to place these shackles on an incapacitated creature. The shackles adjust to fit a creature, small to large, in addition to serving as mundane manacles. Prevent a creature bound by them from using any method of extra-dimensional movement, including teleportation or travel to a different plane of existence. They do not prevent the creature from passing through an interdimensional portal. You and any creature you designate when you use the shackles can use an action to remove them. Once every 30 days, the bound creature can make a DC 30 strength athletics check. If it's a success, the creature breaks free and destroys the shackles.
Yeah, I guess that answers that question. I'm pretty sure we don't have the means of incapacitating quickly.
Mm.
There's just a thought.
To
Can
incapacitate
I,
Jameska? Is that what you're thinking?
Possibly.
Is it possible? How hard is it to fight someone like that?
well, oh, okay. They're
I don't know. We fought the other
they're
guy before.
they're something loth. Erga, what's the fox fiend things that collect knowledge?
She's a Yugoloth. Or
Yugoloth.
type of Yugoloth.
So, in a past life, at least I know that me, I almost said Baz, not Baz. Why am I blanking on your name right now? Dawson. Me, Dawson, and Ike, our characters fought a Yugoloth, and they were very difficult. I don't remember the information on them. Would I be able to do like a history or arcana to like recall in character details from that time? Okay. Do you have a preferred one?
What you wanted a history or arcana? I would say history is more details about the lore, and arcana may be more related to their powers.
Let's go arcana. Let's see if that pulls anything.
Can I?
Okay.
Oh,
You do have a reroll if you want to use a reroll.
It's a what? Well, use reroll if we do.
I'm pretty sure this session is like the planning session. So
yeah, use it. And
Yes.
can I give
Yeah.
you guidance? Can I like? Just,
Okay,
like,
I'll
stop
Alright.
take that.
really
You
hard,
can
just
have guidance
do-
on this reroll.
All right, reroll happening. Arcana. Oh, that's way
There
better.
you go.
Man.
Oh wow.
And then a D4 on top of that.
Yeah, it's D4, I think. I did not mean 2. Why did I type 2? I'm sorry.
If it means anything, they're both 3.
There were 3. Yeah,
There
there
were
were
3.
Oh,
So
well, okay,
30
perfect. So 3.
You know them very well, it seems.
Yeah.
32.
So
32 Arcana.
Wow.
So an Arcanoloth is a specific type of Yugoloth that usually secrets away knowledge and specifically arcane power. So they are typically very high level spellcasters. Wielding magic against them, they are fairly resistant to different types of spells. They usually are able. You probably know. Baz had suggested maybe trying to scry. You're fairly certain that that would not work on an Arcanoloth. They're usually under the protection of a mind blank spell. What else? They can teleport, so they're pretty difficult to lock down in combat.
I do remember that. I do remember that from our encounter with them.
And on top of that, Shemeshka is not your average Yugoloth. She's a very powerful figure here in Sigil.
Not considered a humanoid either, then, right?
Nope. She would be a fiend. And, a fiend the caliber of Shemeshka would have a lot of followers. As if you needed to be reminded that security at a casino would be tight, you can imagine the type of security that she probably has hidden away out of sight.
Probably stuff of the mundane isn't going to be of use here.
Oh yeah, we got to. You know what? We're gonna have to whip these people up and get them to just go nuts. It's gonna have to be just like a full on uprising.
There's another quake.
Anybody feel that?
Yeah.
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 Someone doesn't like what they're hearing.
Not against. Okay, I'm done talking.
You just hear people out in the tap room what the hell's going on? God, hold on to your drinks, I'm spilling everywhere. Everyone's freaking out.
Oh boy. I guess I don't even know. I guess where do we want to, if we had to pick a spot to hit first, do we go the roam turn-in route, which seems highly dangerous because she'd be definitely very ready for us? Or do we try the sneak-in route and go for that portal in the wheel?
And for that idea, first.
I'm down for the portal, the wheel portal.
Where does that portal go?
The high limits.
The high roller rooms.
Oh, that's where it goes.
High roller.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the other devilish creature, if you can trust what the devils tell you, but that's what we were told.
So we go in disguise and we use the portal. And she sees through our disguises, but we're up
Most
in the high
likely.
roller, and we're up in the high roller rooms.
Who knows? It might entertain her to see what we're doing.
Yeah, either way, it doesn't seem like we are going to be able to match her ability until we somehow meet
Free ourselves.
these heroes.
So what do we know about the high roller rooms? Again, there was a lot of different sketchy things going on there.
Malik. I think Malik told you that that's where a lot of, I don't know, maybe not exactly deities, because how would they get there? But like high level demons, demon lords, devils, influential characters go to gamble. Like when he was in there, he was gambling for souls. It sounded like he was trying to put together an army. So they're gambling for things more than just a bit of coin or prizes, like high level stuff. So probably some interesting characters up there, which maybe means to fit in, you might need to be interesting characters or have some kind of story to go along with who you are. I don't know.
What's the limitations to our disguise self? I'll have to read. I'll read the spell. Sorry.
1
I don't think
hour.
we can get extra appendages, and I think there's like a height of 1 plus or minus 1 foot
That sounds right. Yeah.
height difference.
Could anybody disguise themselves as like Moloch?
Not with that spell, because you'd have
No?
to be
Okay.
much larger. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He got quite big.
Unless you come up with some story that I'm Moloch, but look at what I've become. I'm
Oh,
just a
how
soul.
about us disguise self and be a Voltron Moloch?
There you go.
There we go. Someone become
be
the
an
hand.
arm. I'll be the.
He did take when he was in the pit, he disguised himself as
A gnome.
a
gnome, yeah.
But he was
So
disguised.
maybe that's his kind of known mortal disguise. Like,
Good
maybe
point.
that's an option. That's definitely within the height requirements.
What if we disguised ourselves as the booze? What Fell was? Look like we're with you know who?
No more earthquakes, right?
Trying to limit it.
If you do that, you probably know you will have a lot of attention on you if you want that.
I don't know. I mean, if we walk in looking like Moloch, we would have a lot of attention on us too.
Well, Moloch is he's a devil among devils, like that's not uncommon there, but your characters know that Daboos, like, other than Fell, there isn't like another Fell. Like, he's a unique Daboos. So you
Right.
probably create further panic by being a bunch of Daboos walking into, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what you want. You guys are kind of looking for distraction kinds of things, but just know that it would get a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think of things that we learned along the way. I mean, it was all what did we learn we could bring back with us that would help us get through this?
It's hard to say because it was all kind of outside, and these all kind of like microcosms and stuff, and Sigil
Well-
just feels kind of different.
Well, what do we know about Sigil? And we know that it's there to people here. There are rules here.
There are rules.
Isn't there like a rule of 3 or something? That
There is law, neutrality, chaos. If there's two
Rule
of
of
a thing,
3.
what's the third? If there's two of a thing, what's the third? So is there like Jameska and something else and something else? Or the you know who and then the other you know who that doesn't move around so much right now, and then
Yeah.
Are you following me?
I am following you.
actually,
No,
Uh-huh.
that's yep.
Aren't there rules as far as what people or am I thinking of some other place of what people could do, right? Because there's angels that are hanging out with devils here. Seems that there is an order of or somewhat order of peace that is placed here.
Yeah. Do we get a sense that that's being strained? You know, with all these different factions kind of getting more, like they seem to be getting more pronounced. They already had different philosophies, but now it almost seems like it's spilling over.
Well, the portals, it sounds like, have just closed, and that's an unusual event. These earthquakes that have nothing
Yeah.
to do with what you're talking about, they just are happening. Those are, you didn't experience those prior to the last time you were in Sigil, and your memories, your collective memories of being in Sigil from other lives, like you don't remember any of that. And there's just sort of like the social air, right? Like as you've been out in the streets, you can feel the anxiety of people. Like
Yeah.
the factions typically fight with ideas and words and persuasion, and now they're like actually taking action.
Hmm.
Which is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you all have discussed, possibilities here. I think it sounds like you've come to consensus on you've got the chip, you've got the ability to disguise yourselves. At the very least, you can go to Fortune's Wheel and use that chip to enter the portal and get to this high rollers area. It may be that that's necessary to figure out the next step. In the meantime, we've got a week before we play again. If you want to involve a faction, feel free to, talk about the plan in the chat. Let me know about some of those things. Those things can definitely happen. You had a lot of like good ideas, and so now it's just a matter of like which are the pieces of your plan that are going to come to fruition. So I think we'll pick up with the gameplay next week and descend upon Fortune's Wheel, and we'll see what pieces you wish to include in your plan. So, awesome. Thanks, everybody. I hope this was a good reintroduction to Sigil and a slower paced session to allow you to come up with your plan and talk through what you want to do with the casino and trying to recover your ultimate forms or whatever you want to call that. We'll end the session here with our gratitude and share with each other a bit about what made this one a good one. I'll just start and say, like, it was fun just to kind of listen to the whole planning session here at the tail end, because it was just, there's a lot of like good ideas and like kind of elevating the complications with like, did we sign a contract? What does that mean? What could that be? The idea of bringing in the factions to help you out, like just a lot of good like Sigil stuff that you're looking at and trying to bring in all the pieces of the story to kind of round it out and make it all connect, and that's fun for me.
I'll throw mine out towards Robyn and the constant love and care she has for this poor, terrible, disgusting infernal worm that's growing up way too quickly in the span of a couple months.
Did
And
you
it's
see the
just,
cute picture though? He's so cute.
Yeah.
no, it's not. Oh, it's so horrible. But it's just like, this is my child, and I will protect this thing no matter what, even though it's totally just the dude, still as a worm. I just love it every time it comes up.
I
I
would
love him
throw
so
mine
much.
out to Jenna and Dawson. for the removal of the mask, and then the like, I'm gonna immediately just go up and make a smiley face on on you. So it was just funny. It was a cute thing. I like the whole part of just us kind of the tattoos and then sort of changing into other things. So
I would kind of build on like my favorite moment was all of you describing what you decided to look like when you disguised self. Like, and what that maybe represented. And I thought it was interesting. Like it challenged me too to think like, well, what would my character do? Because initially it was like, oh, maybe she'd look like herself. And then I'm thinking, no, I don't think she would anymore. Like, so like hearing what you all picked and kind of trying to figure out why. So that's kind of a four-way gratitude. I don't understand the kobold with the nurse thing. I mean, that just seemed really, that one was just wild. But some of the other ones, like about Baz looking like his father, like it was really cool. And your tattoo description say like all of those symbols and what they represent to your characters. I really appreciated that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ike.
Oh, I was just gonna agree with that. I was gonna give the same kind of gratitude about just the symbols, of the tattoos, and it was fun to see some characters that I recognize kind of show up. So, thank you, and I really liked Baz with just becoming their dad. What would they look like? I wanted to ask that earlier, but what does Baz's dad look like?
oh, so Baz's dad is just kind of like he's an aristocrat. He's an older guy, but sort of like he like where he probably was active in his youth, but now has spent a lot of time behind a desk. But he's kind of still has like sort of a gruff kind of appearance, but he fits very well in like the wealthy circles. So
But
it's kind of like it's a good disguise for Baz because he
Mhm.
never saw himself like that. You know what I mean? That's so not what he looks like to himself.
Was it an accurate portrayal, or was it a bit like a biased portrayal?
I think I think it was as accurate as he could have remembered from that one particular life memory kind of thing that I now have, multiples of. Just a sort of an individual that was definitely never me.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna send mine also over to Baz too, because like that shocked me hearing that out of like what they could disguise themselves as. They picked their dad, which seemed like the person that they wanted to kind of be removed from, like at the start a little bit. So I thought that was a cool choice that you ended up going to him to be your choice for a disguise, and like
Suppose it
I
would
just
be
thought it was cool.
interesting if this disguise like was seen through, because it'd just be like, you let me down again, Dad, or the one time that you didn't let me down is the second disguise actually worked. Either way, it was kind of gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that halfling didn't recognize this extreme description, because pretty much that halfling like had the whole life story of Zilloff.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I'm happy
I
that
mean, I guess she should have recognized the Zillon, right?
That's right.
But no,
Oh, man.
but Zilloff doesn't have a mother, so of course I want to be them.
Funny.
Yeah.
Not all Dragonborn look alike. Come on,
It was a crowded.
Rude.
It was a crowded plaza. So
Yeah.
I did like how you described that, like that ambivalence of like wanting to connect with the tiefling, but also like I felt Zilloff was so driven to like, let's just get where we're going, let's not make waves. So, you described that really well.
You're gonna go look for them though, aren't you?
Oh, I was totally planning. I wanted to go and talk
Yeah.
to him, but
Definitely. That's just like Baz is gonna like not liking seeing somebody intimidate Parisa.
number of callbacks tonight. So thanks, guys. We're gonna close things out. We'll be back next week. We'll start chapter 14 and go behind the wheel But until then, what can you check out this week? Casey's running Vecna Eve of Ruin tomorrow night starting at 8:30. And I think that's it for this week. So this game will be back next week at 7:30 on Wednesday, and we will see you then. We'll close things out. We'll do a raid to the Mandy and check out what they're up to. But with that, have a good night. Stay safe. Enjoy whatever you're doing until the next time we see you. Goodbye.
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life.
Whatever you want. I don't care.
Just enjoy.